There have been 15 more hoax calls on board Indian Airlines today, affecting Air India, Vistara, Indigo, and Air India itself. Air India Express, Vistara, and Indigo. This raises the total number of hoax calls to being in the range of approximately 36, 37 over the last 3 odd days. Now, the government, for their part, say that this has to do with pranksters. But the fact that VPN addresses are being tracked, according to some media reports, in Germany and the United Kingdom seems to indicate this could be far more serious than what some are suggesting. But for whatever it is, this is what the Minister of Civil Aviation had to say.
We are ensuring that these kind of fake bomb threats don't happen in the future, and any change in rules or change in legislation we are thoroughly pursuing from our department also, so that it becomes a strict barrier for people who are trying to do these kind of prank things. We can't comment anything like a conspiracy. We are talking to everyone. We are talking to the airlines. We are talking to security agencies.
Sanjay Lazar has been tracking this with me for the last couple of days. He joins me now. Sanjay, does this appear to be pranksters at work?
Good evening, Vishnu. Thank you for having me. And I'm just amazed that our minister continues to say these things, because it's pretty obvious that, I've said this yesterday, I think, on your show and earlier, civil aviation is not just about social media and appearing on TV. There's so much more serious stuff in this. And yes, we caught a juvenile who, had done 3 or 4 of these. But now we're talking numbers in the 28, 30, 35. It's not a joke. And I was quite certain that, if not a conspiracy, there is a concerted effort to make us look like a banana nation. There is, obviously people, the internet is so sophisticated today. I can be sitting in Kalba Devi and shooting off threats bouncing them off from Germany to Tokyo to Russia, coming back to the US or Canada, and then bringing them to India. So you need an agency that can track this. Now, when you look at the US in comparison, post 9/11, Vishnu, they amended their rules. Anything to do with an aircraft, cyber terrorism, or aviation threats, bombs at airports, or became a pure terrorism, and the FBI became a federal crime. The FBI took it over, and they had powers with Homeland Security and MISA to look into all these things. We don't have that. We need the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Department of IT, the Ministry of External Affairs, the MOCA, of course, Ministry of Civil Aviation, to have a concerted effort with a unified team, because you've got multiplicity of agencies here. And we can't be, treating this so lightly. We're still talking about this is not a conspiracy or that is not. And then, as you rightly say, some people are talking about VPNs in UK, VPNs in Germany, and I've heard South Africa. So there are a lot of international VPNs involved. Now you need an agency that can track this down, and then you need somebody who can penalize them. You can't have one Sahar police station, one Chennai airport police station, one Delhi airport. Let it go to the CBI or the NIA or somebody like that, because you've got, you yourself have shown on your channel, I've seen, Singapore fighter jets going up.
There was a fighter jet today.
Today as well, yes.
On that flight into Heathrow.
Yeah, Heathrow. So we've seen that everywhere. And
airports around the world put our planes into isolation. It's a huge problem for passengers. They don't get their luggage back on time.
And look at the fear psychosis. It's being portrayed now that Indian aviation is unsafe for passengers. It's going to impact us greatly. And we need to, sort this out.
All right, Sanjay, we leave it over there. Thank you very much for joining us. So a huge concern, for the last couple of days. But Sanjay, let me just come back to you for a couple of other points. What do you believe is, is the way ahead for our airlines? There's not very much that they can actually do at this stage. They can only engage the government to a point. The government isn't really sharing very much information with them. There is a financial loss that they're going through each and every flight that this takes place. What can our airlines do?
Well, Vishnu, I only believe that, I've said this and tweeted this earlier. I think, airlines have to reinvent themselves a little bit and ensure pre-departure screening is, almost at bomb threat levels. That's one of the things. Passengers have to be sensitized to the fact that this is now become almost a national calamity, because you're getting, 3, 4 every afternoon, every evening. So over the last 4 days, you've almost hit 40, and that's incredible. That's the other thing. I mean, here there's a case here for the airlines to approach the government and say, let's help me recover this money, and therefore the government must have in place a procedure where it recovers it as and when they catch these guys. These are a lot of things that we need to do. And other than that, I can't see the airlines being able to do too much, because, the SOPs, international SOPs, say the moment the pilot in command gets the information, he must divert, land immediately, and then isolate and sanitize the aircraft and do a bomb check. So that's a thorough SOP. So that's all we can do.
And do you believe in a situation like this, there has to be a lot more by way of communication from the government? Because what we've seen today are some assertions that said that, look, anybody who's found responsible for this will be put on the, they will not be allowed to travel in the future on Indian aviation. In fact, we already have far more stringent regulation in place. They can be jailed for life. I mean, those laws already exist. So you don't need new laws, which in fact water down some of the, the punishment per se against potential offenders, right?
No, we already have very strong laws in place, and no-fly list is the smallest. I mean, I would say treat it as anti-terror action and jail them for the longest possible period. And I'd say 5 years jail. Jail is minimum that I'd give somebody who does this deliberately. You do one of these cases, and you're going to see everybody will stop. Everybody who's in India, if there is somebody playing mischief outside, then you can't help it. You already have 66F of the IT Act. We have Section 111 of the BNS. We have 354. We have enough of provisions under the existing laws to deal with all these. So we don't have to create a new law right away. What you need is a new SOP with a ministry that has the powers to execute. You see, the Civil Aviation Ministry can only file an FIR at worst, or the airlines can do that. But if you had the Ministry of Home Affairs, they could, engage everybody else and make this work, instantly. So I think we need to get a little more serious, a lot more serious rather,
yeah.
and get this focused going. I also believe that the ministry must engage with the stakeholders, which are the airports, which are the airlines, at least for the next week or 2 weeks, or on a daily basis, literally.
No,
because
absolutely.
communication is the key, whether from a government or the airlines.
We'll leave it over here, Sanjay, because at this stage, both of us are searching for answers.
Yes.
And if there are foreign agencies who are helping us in this, that would be welcome. If this threat is international, then the way it's being reported and the reality of the story is something which is very different. Thanks very much for being with us.